Hello and welcome. Today we are starting a powerful graded reader journey called Billionaire's Brain Secrets.
This is not only a story. This is not only English practice. This is a journey into the mind of a man who built a fortune from nothing. And along the way, you will improve your English fluency, expand your vocabulary, and train your brain to think like a billionaire. Many English learners feel stuck. They read stories, but they forget the words. They watch videos, but they cannot use the sentences. They learn vocabulary, but when it is time to speak, the words disappear. From today, that will start to change. Because this graded reader will not only teach you English, it will teach you mindset, discipline, and the thinking patterns of successful people. Here is the best part. You do not need a dictionary. You do not need advanced grammar. You do not need to be afraid of difficult words. You only need your eyes, your ears, and 10 minutes of your day. Every chapter you will read a simple story, learn powerful words, practice real sentences, and slowly your English will become sharper, just like a billionaire's mind becomes sharper every single day. Remember one thing, fluency does not come from one big story. Fluency comes from small stories, read again and again. So do not wait for perfect vocabulary. Start with simple words. Do not wait for confidence. Confidence will come after practice. Do not wait for the right time. The right time is today. Before we start, subscribe to this channel, because here you will improve your English, build your mindset, and learn powerful life lessons. Our story begins with a boy named Daniel, who grew up in a small house with very little money. He did not have expensive toys, and he did not have a big room. But he had one thing that money cannot buy: curiosity. Curiosity means a strong desire to learn and understand. He asked questions all day. Why do rich people stay rich? Why do some people work hard but stay poor? Why do some people build something great, while others only complain? Many people around him said, "Stop asking questions, just work hard and accept your life." Daniel did not accept this. He believed something different, that the mind controls the life, not the money. So while other children played and forgot, Daniel watched and remembered. He noticed how successful shopkeepers spoke to customers. He noticed how confident people carried themselves, even with empty pockets. Slowly, without realizing it, he was already studying the first lesson of his life. Attitude comes before achievement. Years later, Daniel became a successful businessman. People often asked him, "What is the first secret of a billionaire's brain?" His answer was always the same: think before you react. Most people receive bad news and they react immediately with anger or fear. Daniel learned something different. He learned to pause, breathe first, think second, and speak third. And this simple habit changed his whole life. One day, Daniel lost a big business deal. His team panicked, but he stayed calm and said, "This is not the end. This is information. Now we understand what did not work, and we can build something better." That single sentence, spoken calmly in a room full of panic, became the moment his team learned to trust him completely. Real success rarely arrives in one day, and Daniel proved this by building one small habit at a time. Waking early, reading for 30 minutes each morning, and writing down 3 goals every night before he slept. People often think success comes from one lucky moment. Daniel disagreed. He believed success comes from consistency, doing the same good action, again and again, even when you do not feel motivated. Motivation is not reliable, Daniel often said. But habits are reliable. When you build a strong habit, you do not need motivation anymore. The habit carries you forward, even on the days when your mind wants to quit. When Daniel was young, his English was not perfect. He made many mistakes when he spoke to international investors, but he did not stop speaking because he believed that confidence is more powerful than perfection. One investor once corrected his grammar in front of many people. Daniel felt embarrassed for a moment, but then he smiled and said, "Thank you for the correction. Now I will not make that mistake again." The investor was impressed, not by his grammar, but by his attitude. Years later, that same investor became one of his closest business partners, and he told Daniel it was that one sentence that earned his respect. This is an important lesson for English learners too. Do not wait until your English is perfect to speak. Speak now, make mistakes now, and improve every day. As Daniel's business grew, many people wanted his time. Meetings, phone calls, messages, and invitations all demanded his attention. But he learned an important secret. Protect your focus like it is your money. Every minute you give to something unimportant is a minute you cannot use for something important, he said. Rich people do not manage money only. They manage attention. So Daniel started saying no to many things. He removed distractions from his life, turned off notifications during work hours, and gave his full attention to one task at a time. His competitors were busier than him, yet he built more, because he was never scattered. Pause here for a moment, because you have already covered real ground. You have learned to think before you react, to build small habits into big results, to speak with confidence instead of waiting for perfection, and to protect your focus like it is your own money. This is not a small achievement. 5 secrets are already inside your English. If you stopped today, you would already speak better than you did at the beginning of this story. But do not stop, because the second half of this journey goes deeper. The next secrets are about learning from failure, facing fear, sitting in silence, giving before you receive, and finally, protecting the one asset richer than money, your own mind. Even after becoming successful, Daniel never believed he knew everything. He continued learning from people who were more experienced than him, reading their books, asking them questions, and studying their failures as closely as their successes. He often told young entrepreneurs, many people only want to copy success, but real learning happens when you study failure too. Failure teaches you what to avoid. Success only teaches you what worked one time. He repeated one sentence to them again and again. Stay a student forever. The day you stop learning is the day you stop growing. Fear visited Daniel many times. Fear of losing money, fear of failing publicly, fear of disappointing his family. But he discovered something powerful. Fear does not disappear when you become successful. You simply learn to use it differently. Daniel explained it this way. Fear is energy. If you let fear stop you, it becomes weakness. But if you let fear push you forward, it becomes fuel. Before every big decision, Daniel felt fear. Instead of running away, he asked himself one question. What is the cost of not trying? This question gave him the courage to continue, even when his hands were shaking and his mind was full of doubt. Silence was another secret. Successful people are not always talking, and Daniel spent time in stillness every single day, thinking, planning, and observing. He believed that silence creates clarity, and clarity creates good decisions. The world is noisy, he liked to say. Everyone is talking, everyone is posting, everyone is reacting. But the clearest minds belong to people who know how to be quiet. Every morning, he practiced sitting alone for 15 minutes with no phone, no music, and no noise, a simple habit that helped him think clearly before making big business decisions. Some of his biggest ideas did not arrive in meetings. They arrived in that silence. Generosity built Daniel's business more than strategy did. He followed one simple rule: give value first, helping people without expecting anything immediately in return, sharing information freely, and supporting other entrepreneurs, even his competitors.
Most people ask, "What can I get?" he explained. Successful people ask, "What can I give?" When you give real value, opportunities come back to you naturally. This philosophy built strong relationships around him because people trusted him. He never asked for something without first offering something useful. And slowly, without ever chasing it, opportunities started chasing him. At the end of his story, Daniel gathered a group of young entrepreneurs and shared his final and most important secret. "Everyone asks me about money," he began, "but money was never the real fortune. My real fortune was my mind, the way I think, the way I handle failure, the way I stay disciplined when nobody is watching. Money can disappear in one day. A strong mind builds new money again and again." He looked at the young faces around him and said one last sentence. "Train your brain like you train your body. Feed it good information. Protect it from negativity. Push it every single day." This is the real billionaire's brain secret. Before the story ends, Daniel shared one more lesson, almost as an afterthought, though it may be the most important of all. "Watch the 5 people closest to you," he told the young entrepreneurs. "Their habits will slowly become your habits. Their thinking will slowly become your thinking. Choose people who challenge you, not people who only agree with you." He believed that no one builds a strong mind alone. A negative circle drains energy quietly, day after day, while a positive circle multiplies it without you even noticing. He said the people you spend the most time with are quietly writing the next chapter of your life, whether you notice it or not. Congratulations. You have completed Billionaire's Brain Secrets, and along this journey, you did not only read a story. You learned real vocabulary, practiced real sentences, and trained your brain to think like a billionaire, calm under pressure, consistent with habits, confident despite mistakes, focused despite distractions, humble enough to keep learning, brave enough to face fear, quiet enough to think clearly, and generous enough to give value first. This is not small, this is real progress. English fluency does not come from one big story, remember that. It comes from reading small stories again and again until the words become part of you. Just like Daniel did not become a billionaire in one day, he built his mind one habit, one lesson, one small decision at a time. Do not stop here. Reread this story tomorrow. Retell it in your own words. Use the new vocabulary in your own sentences about your own life. This is how a story becomes fluency, and fluency becomes confidence. If this graded reader helped you, subscribe to this channel, because here you will find more stories, more vocabulary, and more powerful lessons for your English and your life. Your journey has started. Now continue it with curiosity, consistency, and courage.